Hi, this is Rich in Akvile, and we're just documenting our life. And something really amazing happened today. It had to do with entity stuff and exploring planet Earth as a prison planet and numerology. Her number is 9 in numerology. Mine is 11 in numerology. And we just gave this very interesting session to one of our clients. And we're going to talk about what we found out about the multiverse instead of, what the client's issues were, but it was just really amazing stuff. So as we begin, how my 11, that's my number. Hers is 9. And we've been seeing 9 and 11 all over the place since we started our working together. It's just like for years now, 9 and 11 together, 9 and 11, 11 and 9, 9 and 11, 11 and 9. Anyway, the session we just gave, how long, what was the timing on it?
1, 11, 11, 11, 09. Like sort of, I'm not sure if I can zoom in. That's wrong stuff, but you can actually like see the numbers up there. Nope, that's an outtake.
That's an outtake. But yeah, 1 hour,
11 minutes, 11 seconds, and done at 11:09.
we completed this. At the end of the session, the time was 11:09, and it went for 1 hour, 11 minutes, and 11 seconds. Whoa! And it was a very interesting session. I just got a dizzy spin in my head thing. Shall I start setting up?
Yeah.
Okay, so the part I want to talk about is where Akvile was looking at the client's stuff and found this. It's kind of a spiral. This has to do with how we get. Okay, this is gonna get fucking crazy. If you're not ready for this shit, it's gonna sound crazier than fuck. It has to do with entities or beings, people, and let's just say shit got blown up on another planet and you're a free being and you're gonna, well, my planet's gone, I gotta go do something else, regroup, right? So your body's dead, but you're flying around in what you might call the astral or and you're looking for a what now? So you kind of just float around and go somewhere, free being, right? And you find another planet and you'll reincarnate. That would make sense. Or if your planet didn't get shit blown up because there wasn't a galactic war and that was all not happening, then you would just die, whatever. And then you would pick up another body, go, I think I'll float around, be free. I might go to another planet. I might travel to another galaxy, do whatever you want. But oftentimes you want to get back into the game with your family right there on the planet, in the civilization, in the country, with the people that you were just with before you died. That's normal. What has happened, and you can hear the story all over the place, from Andrew Bartz's Galactic Historian, Wes Penray, Alien Invasion Force, Robert Morningsky, Terra Papers, all these different stories are coming at us, plus past life recalls, and all this stuff will tell us that there's a galactic war and it's a serious battle. But not only is it fought in the physical plane, it is fought in the astral or the other planes, higher dimensions and densities. And what is being done is beings are getting caught after they die and recycled on one planet or another. But here's the really creepy shit. Yeah. They will take more than one being, like say they have they caught about 100 beings, 100 people had dropped dead. They stick them all together using electronics, squish them together, and make them think they are one person. It's called clustering. So you can have an entity cluster. Now, I've been doing this work for over 30 years, doing this entity cluster spotting and breaking up and blowing up and getting them out of your space, because most humans now have entity clusters in their energy field and in their body. And these energy clusters, they can feel like a thought or an ache or a pain in your body, or they can feel like they're part of you. Both ways. It can go either way. You can be thinking a thought and you're thinking it's you, and it's a cluster of entities. It could be 10, it could be 1,000 or more, but a cluster of entities are beings. They've long ago forgotten that they were an individual, and they're a part of this. They're a group individual, but now they've somehow, in this life or an earlier life, got attached or merged with you, or you got caught and jammed into a cluster yourself. But here you are right now. You are the awareness that you are. But when you start thinking, you're having conversations in your head, and yeah, I want to do that. No, I don't. That was bad. No, I don't think that. That was negative. Don't be negative. Be positive. Yeah. That stuff can be entity phenomena. So in this session that we did today, Akvile spotted a new kind of mechanism or structure on how it's done.
Yeah.
On planet Earth.
Yeah, so as the session started, I was like tracking the issues regarding the person and stuff, and I'm finding like a lot of it has to do like, where is the origins? Where does it all start? And I'm like, I'm seeing the structure, I'm seeing the stuff, but I'm like, where does that take place? And I'm like to tell the story, you know, that it all starts before Earth becomes a prison planet.
Really?
So
Yes.
you know, it all starts with like the origins, and like the story right now with the person starts, or like where I am right now. I get out of body. What am I seeing, and where does that take place? It all happens before the Earth becomes a prison planet, and I see this structure. It's not a physical structure. It's more like energetic, but you can't just like tap into. Oh yeah, I feel it. Nah, like it's not like physical. You don't feel it. But that structure is like a tube, and it goes like round and round and round. So like if the Earth is here, you can go around and around and around. There's like this never-ending tube, and it like keeps going up and up and up. So it's like a trap, and inside there are a bunch of souls.
Inside the tubes?
Yes.
So you imagine a pipe that you twist like this, but like it's large here and it goes into a spiral down like this.
Yeah.
And it's a pipe.
Yes.
And inside the pipe, there are beings, entities that used to be real people.
Exactly.
And so it's going like this. And now do they, do you say kind of at the end, they'll go back up and like spin around again?
It's like, you know, like that.
Okay, so like, and then they somehow, and it's a never-ending kind of.
Yes, it's just a loop, you know, like
loop,
there is no exit. You cannot like, oh, look, doors. Like, no, that does not happen. It's a closed space, and from inside it's all black. You can't see anything except like, you know, the soul would probably be like, you know, the light body, like, you know, oh, like look, energy, and they like keep going, but the thing is they cannot escape, and there's like more and more shoved inside to the point where there is no more space. It's so crowded that billions of these beings smash into one, and then like keep separate, like because there's this flow inside. It's like, I cannot call it the liquid, but there's this energetic flow that keeps everyone moving, and they cannot stay in one place. They cannot stop, like, okay, we're gonna line up, okay, we're gonna make sure, like, count everyone in here. No, that doesn't happen. And they're constantly being pushed, and it's as if, like, you know, you're in the traffic and someone just keeps banging into you again and again and again, but to the point where a bunch of beings slide into one.
Yeah.
And because they hit someone else, some of them scatter around, and you get in someone else. Mm-hmm. And you just like keep, like, it just keeps getting into one and scattering, getting into one and scattering, to the point where a conscious being who has memories, who has, like, you know, okay, I'm conscious, this is a soul tribe, this is this, I remember my mission, gets to the point where smash, boom, bunch of memories, boom, different personality, like, oh, I'm this, but I'm also this, and I'm this, and I'm this, and you start becoming someone else, because now you are blending with other beings, now you are blending with their memories, you're blending with their past life experiences, and a bunch of different beings that were once separate becomes one, but it's all crowded. It's not just like, oh yeah, I have the memory, bunch of chatter, bunch of different personalities, and then boom, you bang into someone else, and that just keeps happening for eternal, because there is no exit, there is no escape. You cannot, like, and you're just stuck, and beings are stuck there, like in time and space where they cannot escape, and it's constant, like, you know, like into one and smash, into one and smash. I don't really have the word right now for that, but you get the idea.
Yeah.
So that's crazy.
Wow. So that's what we encountered today with a client, and it was so like, whoa, because I knew the phenomena of how to spot them in your space and how to help, you know, wake them up so they can wake up and they can leave the cluster, and the cluster will break up and all this stuff. But the actual mechanisms or the structures, and there's got to be thousands of these different kinds of traps and systems, and I thought it was pretty fascinating that you could see it. You can see it like crystal clear, like visually. You can like see it.
Yeah, like, you know, I get out of body and I have visuals like, oh, here, like planet Earth. Oh, look, there's this, like, oh, flat Earth, like, because there's a bunch of realities and timelines and like spaces and parallel universes. Like come on. But that's a different subject. So I get out and I, like, you know, it's total pitch black because I'm like, right now I'm on a mission. I'm tracking, like, okay, what's the issue? And I'm fighting, like, you know, it's like you have a lead. Okay, entity. Who are you connected to? Who are you connected to? Why are you here? And I'm sort of following the lead, and I'm like, where does it all start? Boom. And I come here, and here's Earth, and here's that structure. And I'm like, okay, what's going on? And it's like watching a movie. I see our client. I know who he is. I know his mission. I can, like, tune into him, scan everything. And I know that structure. And it's like, you know, he goes in, his mission is to save those beings, because you cannot save it from outside. You can't, like, that doesn't happen. You cannot blast it. You cannot do anything. You can destroy it from inside. This is the only way to take it out. And so the being, like, you know, has a clear mission. I'm going to go in. I know how to do it. I'm going to take it out. He goes in, and I'm like watching a movie, like tuning in and, like, you know, okay, what's going on? And so I get out, and he's out there. And what happens, he has a clear goal. He knows how to take it out. He knows how to, like, destroy this machine, but he was not expecting to see what's inside. And there are a bunch of our beings who are trapped, who are pushed, and someone bangs into him again and again and again, to the point where it's all a mess. Like, you know, you're just in between a bunch of fishes or, like, trucks or whatever, and you're, like, constantly banging, like, you know, stressing out because, like, what is this? And you cannot focus on your goal. And it throws you out to the point where you forget what your goal was. You forget what you were doing. You forget who you are. You lose all of that, but you get a bunch of other people's, like, you know, emotions, personalities, different stuff. And it happens again and again and again, to the point where there is this sort of, I cannot call it exit, but let's say the door that will be opened whenever it's time for anyone to get the physical body. It's like, you know, they're going to click a button, okay, you're, like, you know, they're going to get the body. But it's not like anyone is chosen. Like, you know, okay, that being will get to exit. It's like, you know, you're being pushed, and someone randomly will be shoved. Like, you know, like, there's this, I don't know, like, flow, and there's, like, a vacuum or something sucking them out. So you're going, you're being able to, and they suck you out. So sort of like that.
So it's like this pipe thing that's going around like this. Has holes, or they can pop open little portals or holes in it. And it's like, because it's a lot of pressure in there, so to speak, somebody will be sucked out. And then the person that's sucked out, like maybe in the vortex of this spiral thing, is they're directed into a physical body kind of thing.
Pretty much. But with it all, what happens is that you're not leaving alone. I mean, like, there are chances, there are chances that you're going to be like, okay, one being goes through. Throughout the sucking and all the, like, banging and stuff, like, because there's literally no space. A bunch of beings get into one body, and they're sucked out in one.
Yeah, so this gives a whole new, a deeper meaning to life sucks on planet Earth.
And, you know, like, people will have, like, the sort of schizophrenia or multiple personality disorder.
It's pretty, that happens. That's a pretty common issue.
Yeah.
We have different personalities during the day. You know, I'm moody. You're happy, you're sad, you're brave, you're afraid, you're optimistic, you're pessimistic. All these attitudes, it's quite likely there's one you in all this, and that's the awareness. But as the awareness you identify with one entity or one entity cluster at a time. And you might switch 5 seconds later, you'll switch over here, or you might be this way all day long, but then you switch over here and you become the personality that's within the dominant personality within each of these entity clusters or beingnesses. And there's one beingness, not part of these clusters, that would be the more defined self. But even that, the awareness that you are, that is in all of us, has identified with this one defined self and is being this, and you feel pretty together, it's just you, or you're identifying with one or more of these clusters as a composite. And that's where we get the idea that a human is a composite being. They're composed of many entities or aspects of consciousness. And so there's the coming together, the clustering, and then there's splitting apart, soul fracturing, soul fragments, and there's a way to gather those fragments back. Did you do any of that today?
Yeah.
You did?
Yeah. Because in it all, as you smack into our beings, you literally lose part of yourself. Like, you know, they come in and then you lose part, like, you know, just like all like bunch of beings coming into one and then like scattering around because they hit someone else. And so through it all, it's all get lost. Like your parts, other people's parts, and like, you know, it's just like a complete mess.
So it's kind of like there's a true self that we have as our self, but that's the consciousness once again identifying with the experience of this one point of view to experience all of life for billions and billions of years. But this is you, and that's okay. It's an ego self, it's a personality, but that's okay because it's just one. But now to make it worse, we get confused with in one body these other entity phenomena, and this clustering can happen where now it's even worse. So how is that a bad thing? If we're defining what is the problem here, of which there is a solution, why is that a problem?
Well, you know, like we have a physical body here on Earth, like it's our vessel, and you're not alone in this body.
So if you ever felt lonely, get over it.
Oh my God.
There's thousands of you feeling alone.
That's not a good.
That's not a good idea.
But you know, it's not like you're alone. You have other beings within the same body, and the chat we have in our mind that can be nonstop. It is not you talking.
Yeah.
It is a bunch of other beings talking it up, and you're picking it all up.
Yeah. So the problem is like feeling like you're not yourself, or you can't stay focused, or you don't have strength of character. You don't feel like you're fully here. That's sort of issue or problem.
That's just the start of it.
And that's just the start of it. What? How's that?
You also have like sort of not just your agreements when you come into here, like on Earth,
yeah,
and you make agreements like soul contracts and stuff.
Yeah.
Other beings that came with you will have it as well.
Have what?
Agreements.
Their own agreements.
Yes.
But now you've adopted them, and so now they're your agreements.
Yes.
Because they're coming in, I'm all fucked up, and now you're thinking that's you, and you're saying I'm all fucked up, and you're going, I feel fucked up. Like that?
Pretty much.
Oh man,
so,
it's worse than I fucking thought.
Yeah. So we have mind chatter. We have new agreements that are not just ours, but from other people and from their lives. Jeez. But also, you know, like all these memories and personalities, they're scattered. So with all that, that's not where it ends. Like, you know, a bunch of beings are in there, but they also are it's all pretty tight over here. And beings are not sharing the space. Like, you know, oh, it's tight here, it's tight here. And a lot of times you will feel like you're being pulled, or like there's attention here and stuff. And, you know, like, it's like as if you're being squeezed. You don't have enough space, and people start developing like scoliosis and different things because it's all being twisted. And like, you know, you have your own beingness, but other beings like, you know, hey, I need my space. And all of them are moving around trying to get their own space, and it really fucks you up. Like, you know, like your physical body reacts to that, and that's one part of it. Mm-hmm. Coming back to the whole soul trap machine, or however we like structure, however we would call it, if you can imagine the process of the meat being shoved into this like thing to become a sausage.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
A bunch of fucking meat, fucking sausages. I know it. I fucking knew it. That's what it feels like.
So for a metaphor, you have a bunch of meat and you're shoved into thing, and now you're a sausage. That's one aspect. A bag of chips, you know, a bunch of different personalities in one bag. You know, however you pick it up. But so when a being comes in, and like a lot of them are getting out, there's also a handler, someone who will take care of them all and make sure that they're all sort of feeling nuts and don't remember, they're all numb, and all of those beings are scattered and messed up, and they will never wake up. That is the mission of the handler, to make sure that they don't wake up, they're not free, they're always messed up. And so the handler is like the package that will hold them together. And so when the beings are squeezed and stuff, you might get that tension, like, you know, you're being squeezed from the outside, you're being crushed, and that is the handler. Whenever you are living your life, when you're waking up and you're finding out more, you're waking up the aspects that are inside, other beingness and stuff. And so
when you like wake up, I can get worse. Like you're waking these guys up. Is what you're saying?
You become a target. For
A
example,
target.
Yeah, when you leave the body for the first time, imagine the ant farm. All the ants are in there like, oh, how cute. One ant escapes. Hey, that should not be out there. Pretty much.
Your first out-of-body experience. Something to look forward to.
So when you get out of the body, like no one cares when you dream and stuff. No one cares about lucid dreams. You do astral projection or you get out of the body, and like that being should still be on Earth. They're not supposed to be out.
Yeah.
And that's when they start targeting us, like causing this fear or like messing with us, pulling and pushing us back into the body and stuff. That happens. So with us, when we are learning and we're learning the information and we start waking up,
yeah,
other aspects are there. They're listening. They're fully aware of us.
Mm-hmm.
So they hear that information. They learn with us. And the more they wake up, the more they want to be free, which is like they're trying to get out of the physical body.
Oh, I see.
Which is why you get all kinds of pullings, all kinds of sensations and stuff. And the handler is like, that's not supposed to happen. And like, you know, like you're trying to control a vicious beast or animal, like, you know, like, hey, calm down. And you're like going to squeeze them, make sure that they're not moving. Same thing with the handler. The more you wake up spiritually, the more you want to get away, the more they're going to close you in and try to trap you and hold you in here.
Squeeze you and hold you and
with that they cause the physical pain. You know, they can cause like all kinds of like, you know, headaches or like like my back hurts and stuff.
Hey, as a matter of fact, mine is right now as we're talking about this. It's right through here. Normally it hurts over this way, but and my neck is tight, and my own shit got triggered when we were giving that session.
After this, you're next.
Okay.
So the handler can also, like, you know, mess with other beings and make sure that they become numb. And so, you know, we blame like, oh, chemtrails, oh this, oh that, 5G and stuff. It's all about outside. The handler will make sure that the inside is messed up, and they can send entities and other things, and they will make sure that they can mess with our emotions or, like, you know, distract us. We're focused on one thing, and all of a sudden, oh, procrastination, different stuff. And the stuff that you were interested in and focused on so much, it was like going to help you. They know it's going to help. They don't want it to happen. So they're going to make sure that there's something else in your surroundings that you're going to get into. And so they keep distracting us, messing with us in a way where, for the big picture, you cannot get out.
Yeah, it's kind of like they're sending in a secret agent spy that's trained to influence crowds, propaganda, leader, grassroots movement within the system, and it'll change those aspects of you that aren't really you, and like talking the crowd into getting all excited about something other than what you really should be focused on. And there you go.
Exactly.
Like
and you know, that's why we have sort of doubt or fear or other things pop up, because we're feeling great, we're doing good. They don't want us to do that well. They're like, you know, hey, that's not good, that's not true, you're not doing that. And like they're gonna keep telling those messages, and other aspects will pick it up, and you start getting that thinking. You pick up on what those aspects got, and all those doubts and all those fears and all those worries and concerns. That's not you. That's from the outside that's trying to hold you in, you know? That's one thing. And something like doing the work, like, you know, getting rid or like sort of following the hierarchy, the structure. I'm like, okay, the handler is here, but it's sort of more like energetic. It's not physical. It's not like you can, oh, come here. It's not here. So I'm like, where is the origins of this handler? Like, because energetically, like, or like, with thoughts and stuff, it's here, but like, where is it like real? And I'm tracking it, and boom, I teleport, like, like I sort of get a sense, and I'm sort of like put my intention on tracking it up. I teleport to this being, and there it is, 12-foot reptilian, bluish, grayish. It has horns and like all kinds of like like little like things popping out of like arms and stuff. And sure enough, he's the one that like is playing a part in the structure, and he's not only controlling like one person. There's thousands responsible. That one being responsible for thousands of people, and they have like the bunch of planet is like full of those reptilians. And like it's like warlord, and each of them is responsible for a specific district, specific like public of like and all the stuff.
Yeah, and they have their ministers of war. Their minions are like would be like the handlers that you're mentioning, and so these subordinates are in control of the masses, so to speak, and then they manipulate the masses of entities and clusters to control the dynamic, true being self that is here trying to wake up and help wake up others and stuff like that.
Pretty much, yeah. And so for them it's easy as can be, because like they're super intelligent, and they give one command, and like thousands or millions of clusters of entities can come in and start the work. And it's not like all of them like, yeah, let's go mess with people. They're enslaved as well.
Really?
Yeah. And that's the thing, like that's sort of something to realize. And like a lot of them are just like people who've been enslaved, who've been messed with, who want approval, or like hey, I want to be safe, I don't want to be dead, so please don't kill me, I'm gonna mess with the people.
Yeah, it'd be kind of like somebody on YouTube sharing their truth, and they got it all wrong. It's just like you're spewing out the propaganda of the deep state or the shadow government, or the ones that are actually into controlling and dominating. But they're sharing a story that promotes that idea when they're actually a good person. They just got programmed, or they just got it wrong. And if they could wake up to the truth, they would, if they could. But they're just seeing it differently with the programming. It's kind of like programming.
And another thing, like when it's programming, a second thing is like holding hostages. Like literally, if you're not doing what I will tell you to do, you're gonna die. Simple. A bunch of beings are enslaved and threatened to be killed if they are not gonna do what reptilians tell them to do.
Yeah, that's
really bad. So like I'm taking care of this like cluster, and like taking care of like okay, entities, the handler, this like reptilian stuff. Who is your leader? Because like one reptilian is not enough. Like there's still someone above him.
When you're saying you're taking care of the cluster and the handler, what you mean for the client? You're doing something?
Yes.
What are you doing?
I use the galactic vacuum to select them all out. I like give them a bunch of fluff to make sure like they cannot handle it.
Bunch of love?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because like fight. Yeah, that doesn't work. They're like, war please, it's fun. Yeah. Like they get like.
Well, fuck you too. You're in a fight. They love that shit.
Yeah, they love that. They get off of that. And you can even like call it like a Terminator movie. Where you're trying to kill a Terminator and then they duplicate and there's more of them. That happens. You're trying to kill an entity with fist fight and stuff like that. And like, oh, cool.
Now there's 4 of them, 8 of them. Yeah. So you just love instead, huh?
Yeah. You got to give them love because they cannot handle that. And that's where they're like getting shaken and stuff. And that's where you can unmock them, uncreate them, get rid of them in that way.
So you do that for the client?
Yes. And like, so I'm taking care of entities by like, like using using galactic vacuum to suck out the cluster of entities, unmocking them, like even like trying to wake them up, like waking up the entities, like hey, you're not here, or like trying to like talk to them to the point where like, hey, yeah, I know what you mean, and then they like those entities themselves, like could you help me?
Yeah.
They want help.
I've seen that over the years.
They want safe place to be. They want to make sure that they're not going to be killed by a reptilian and stuff. They want to be free. They don't want to mess with people. They're like enslaved. So once they wake up, they're like, oh, please help. Like, I don't want to mess with you. I don't want to do other things. I just want to be left alone and just like get back who I really was.
Yeah.
And a bunch of them want to be safe, want to grow, and like normal people. Like everyone wants to have like love and appreciation and like safety and stuff like that. So there's that. bunch of stuff, like revoking any agreements, like revoking any, like, what is in common between these two parties and stuff. So like taking any kind of contracts.
So you can spot like the entity that clusters agreements.
Yeah.
And cancel them or revoke them or some shit.
Yeah, that. And there's also like okay, seeing like a base where a bunch of people are like being sort of tortured and stuff like that. Then I can like take it out, like unlock it, uncreate it, and stuff like that. So there's that. And with it all, like I finally move up to like the original leader, and there's this sort of like draconian queen. And she was the one like oh yeah, I planned the whole cluster and stuff. And literally they don't want to fight. They want to like they want to be unlocked and stuff. And they're like, okay, listen, we're not gonna fight. I'm gonna leave. I'm not gonna mess with you. And like it's literally like diplomatic. And that's all it is. Like it's a mutual respect.
That's what I've heard in more than one story. The dragon queens are extremely brilliant and diplomatic, and they want to control and dominate, but they don't want a war.
Yeah.
And Dan Winter, if you Google Dan Winter dragons or something like that, he has a lot to say about the dragon queens. Robert Morningsky in Terra Papers has some stuff about the dragon queens. There's a lot of stuff about the dragons, which is the ruling class of the reptilian empire that we're so familiar with. Go ahead.
Yeah. So like it's just the chat, like with the dragon queen, like or like draconian queen, like hey, like stop messing with people, stop messing with Earth, like no more enslavement, no more out, like you're out. And so we have a chat where like they're gonna go away and leave this place alone fully. And then like there is like the sort of like a peace treaty or something, and there's like consequences of what happens if you break it. And it's clear, like hey, if you break the treaty, you and your race will be wiped out or something like that. Like you give them a threat or something, and it's a clear rule, and both parties respect it. And if something happens, then like it's like just like that.
The dark forces know how to keep us busy. Incredibly powerful beings. How do you keep them from waking up and using their incredible superpowers? Well, you just overload them with life problems of one kind and another. But we've noticed that many clients that come to us, what is discovered is that in their past, they have they're playing with the big boys. I mean, they're getting into it and being a threat. Some of the heavyweights that we hear about are as in the dark forces, different entities, gods, or key figures, Anunnaki figures and stuff. Clients have had face-to-face with some of these bad boys and got fucked, lost the fight, lost the battle, got captured, got caught, and got sent into the physical plane, Earth, prison planet Earth, for real, to keep us unable from waking up, popping back out of it, and being back in the fight. Or we also have the choice to be done with, hey, I don't want to play good guy, bad guy anymore, light versus dark, this duality or polarity. I'm going to go off, done with the game. I've had enough. It was fun. It was what it was. I'm out of here. And you can go into one of these many different wonderful realms of experience. It's all delightful music, art, philosophy, teaching, awakening, consciousness. It's all kinds of wonderful, loving things. Or you can stay in the game and help liberate beings that have been controlled and dominated and enslaved. So there's lots of ways you can go, but Akvile is able to do a remote scan on you, and when she does it, she is in it with crystal clear, vivid detail, the touchy and the feeling. She can even talk to people's dead friends and relatives, so to speak, and she's there with them and having the conversation. So anyway, and she she does an audio of what she sees as she's going along, and then sends that off to the client. Different from a remote viewing, in that typically a remote viewing is you have a special target, you use these scientific protocols, and sometimes they're blind or double blind, and you just pick the stuff. But that's for military and other very serious research and things for use in the physical world. What we work with, we help clients with their spirituality and their awakening and their understanding of themselves and why they're in the condition they're in, and what's causing this and what's causing that. And so she's also, I mentioned it a little, but she can see the entities in one's space. Some of these entities are like, oh, they look like your basic demon or creepy looking character. They can look like the incubus, succubus, sexual entities. But some of these are, they're like energy clouds, and they're actually like particles. And the particles are actually consciousness entities, and they're clustered together. And they can be like micro nano-sized particles of consciousness that were soul fractured, splintered off from beings long, long ago. Or it could be some great being long, long, long ago getting pounded and crunched into the consideration that they are nothing more than a microscopic perspective. And then they get mashed with some others same way, and you get a cluster of entities like this, or cluster of beings. They're clustered together, and then the whole cluster gets programmed with a thought or a feeling or a pain. And then this is how the bad boys in the higher planes with their advanced technology can control, dominate, manipulate, implant beings like us that are such great super ability. Why cannot we just break free? Well, it has to do with what we think, what you think and what I think, what you think about yourself, what you believe about yourself, your limitations or your unlimited potential, and same here. And these are deep-seated beliefs that we've had probably for a long time, but they're easily programmed with the right technology. They're easily programmed into us, especially if we're rendered unconscious or stoned, dazed, or in a trance. So they get us in those kinds of states, and then they implant us with a cluster of beings. They shove those into our space, so now we become one with that cluster. We are part of the cluster. We might be the biggest being within this cluster, but this cluster has clustered with us. So now when we think a thought, it affects the cluster's thinking, and when the cluster thinks a thought, we think it's us thinking the thought. There is no we in all of this. It's always me and I. So this cluster is a tricky implant sort of thing to control our thinking, so that it can have a thought that, oh, I'm no good. And it's the cluster thinking, I'm no good. But we're thinking the same thought as it telepathically, so it's going I'm no good. And so now I am believing whatever I believe, or you are believing whatever you believe about yourself as a limitation. And so this entity cluster that is within you is another kind of entity phenomena. And there can be billions and billions within an entity cluster, just like the nano-sized bacteria within a body. Right now, there are billions of these clustered bacteria in my body. And they work together. There's some sentience, there's some divine intelligence, there's some consciousness, or there's some awareness, there's some life energy in it, or they would be dead, right? So it's imbued with life, and that's a consciousness. And so there will be an entity behind or within the entire cluster of a, let's say, a disease or a bacteria infection in your body. So, but there's billions of them. So when Akvile is looking at people's entities in entity clusters, sometimes she'll find these big ones that look like creepy, men in black or witches or seductive creatures or something. Sometimes it'll be those, or it'll be a gray, or even a reptilian, but in a non-physical realm. But sometimes it'll be an entity cluster of billions of these nano-sized, programmed and programmable fragments or splinters of consciousness that have been put together purposefully, on purpose, programmed to mess with a very powerful being so that we cannot wake up to our true potential and who and what we really are. So it's always a challenge to be in control of your own awareness, beingness, and to stop the thinking. Because if you're sitting here trying to do quiet mind and stop thinking and you can't stop, you got to ask yourself, if I'm wanting to not think, what's wanting to think? But when you start thinking, it feels like you, doesn't it? Well, so why can't I stop thinking? Why can I not stop talking to myself? It feels like the awareness that you are is now the thing saying, I cannot stop thinking. But yet there's another part of you that knows that that's not the awareness that you are. So this is entity phenomena within the beingness and the awareness that is, and the awareness is identifying with the ego, the mental phenomena, the thoughts, the feelings, the wants and the desires, and the entities and the entity clusters that have blended, making the human being that you are, that I am, a composite being. And the trick is to be able to know the difference, observe the difference, and be at cause over that thinking stuff. And when you can clear that stuff out of your space, your ability to see vividly your past and your now and alternate realities and parallel universes will start coming back to you. And your ability to move out of the body will come back to you, because the consciousness that you are, unimpaired or uncluttered with entity phenomena, if that's cleared out, you can easily move in and out of your body. Because the inability to move in and out of your body has to do with beliefs and programming that's in entity phenomena, and it's also difficult to get out of your body because you identify with the second body, the energy body, the astral body, the beingness, and the energy field, and the mindset and the ego of it all that you believe yourself to be. So you can't separate easily from your physical body. And when the physical body goes to sleep, you spiritually go to sleep with it, because of all these things I just mentioned. So when the body falls asleep, and you fall asleep first, then your physical body will fall asleep. And so no out-of-body experience for you. If you can stay awake while the physical body falls asleep, you're very likely to be able to have an out-of-body experience. You'll experience the vibrations and the sleep paralysis and your consciousness shift. You'll have a phase shift, and now you can be wide awake looking around. And guess what? The body fell asleep, and so did your entity case. The entities that you are relate to, this is me. I'm sleepy now. I'm going to sleep. The entity clusters relate to the me, that the same as the body relates to me. This is me. And they work together. The big me, you want to get rid of the big me, is what you want to do with your quiet mind practice. And then you start waking up the true self, the awareness that you are. Stops identifying with the body, the entities, the entity cluster, the mind, all that phenomena. And then the programming of amnesia and can't remember your past, that's all in your entity cluster stuff and in your mental thinking processes, your computations, your beliefs, your your wants, your needs, your desires, your traumas, your past life trauma, all this stuff is all locked up and cluttered in this mind field. So when you can stop thinking, you can start becoming free of all of that.